Get it right. Lunchbucket software for an imperfect IT world. This software was born in Chicago. A blue-collar software for a blue-collar kind of job. The U.S. economy is stalled. CIOs across the board are holding tight on their investments in technology. They are looking desperately for ways to cut costs. Many of them would like to invest in new software systems, but they know this much to be true. No matter what they buy, the real cost will be in the stuff that nobody will ever see. Data migration. Yuck. It's like fixing the shocks on your car. You know the car will run safer, but a new CD sound system would be a whole lot cooler. And it always costs more, and it always takes longer than the consultants say it will. Always. What if? What if it didn't have to be that way? What if you could automate the entire process? What if that automation could be executed by an office admin rather than a computer programmer? What if that could save a couple of $100,000 out of our IT budget? What could we do with those savings to kickstart our company? How could that help kickstart America? Hey, this is Chicago. This is a working man's town. We know how to get our hands dirty. But we also are the center of commerce and industry, and we know the value of automating the work process. We're not going to make you a new e-commerce site. We're not going to change the way you do business. We're not going to make you wireless, paperless, or profitless. We're just going to save you a ton of dough and make your life a whole lot easier. Hey, that's big talk. Well, we're from Chicago. We do that kind of stuff. You might want to know how you're going to do that, big guy. Well, take a look at this. This is Get It Right in action. This was recorded right at Sauk Valley Hospital, a 100-bed community hospital located in central Wisconsin. The work you are about to see is being done by a talented admin assistant, not a programmer. Check out the video interviews on the next link on this CD, and you will see what they had to say. What was their pain? It's going to cost $220,000 to migrate data from their current hospital management software to their new system. Ew. And they were ready to pay that. And then they met Get It Right. And that changed everything. Take a look at this demonstration, captured right off the computers at Sauk Valley. Sauk Valley Hospital has been effectively using the Affinity hospital management software to run their hospital for over 10 years. But it was time for a change. They needed to upgrade to a more robust system. They selected Meditech software. They were happy about their choice, but then they were faced with the awful challenge of data migration. All the data that's in all of these individual databases. Now, small hospitals simply don't have the staff on hand to do any kind of programming like this. The software from Meditech offered some help, but not nearly enough. When Sauk Valley looked at getting a consulting firm to help them, their best price was $220,000. So it was pay this amount, or do it by hand, or do without. Now, how would they have done that by hand? Well, you're watching that right now. They would have to export all that data in their different databases with their Affinity system to an Excel spreadsheet. Then they would print out the forms and then input each record by hand. This is an arduous task at best and fraught with all kinds of errors. But the hospital has a choice to make. Pay $220,000 to have somebody come from the outside, come into your hospital, disrupt your operations, and of course you don't know whether it's really going to be $220,000 and exactly how long the 3 consultants that are going to come in here and sit in your office, well, you get the picture. Well, let's consider a different picture. This time, let's open up the Meditech software. Let's find the place where we want to enter data. So the first thing we have to do is open it up, log on to the system, and we need to find our way through to the particular field where we want to enter the data. Okay, now we're at that field. This is where we're going to do all of the work. There's going to be 5,000 records that we're going to enter into this, and there are several fields. You notice it says page 1 up here. So there are several fields in here that we're going to work on. And the first thing we want to do is get the recording going. So you're going to look down here in the corner and you see they click on this little button. And when they click on this little button, it launches Get It Right to be able to start doing the recording. Now this happens very fast in real time, so I've paused this playback so that you can see what's going on. But we're going to click on this to record, and here is the Get It Right file, and we're going to create this file. and it says the record script in real-time mode. All clicks and keys will be played back in the same time that they were recorded. And so now we're making a choice, no, and now we're going to move on. Now we're entering all the data. Now, boy, that happened really quick. I'm gonna actually escape this a second and back up just a bit. I want you to notice when this comes up, and we'll go to full screen view again. When this comes up, oh boy, it's so fast. It asks whether this is a new file or not. That's what that yes/no question is. Now the nice thing about doing this is you can hard code in that answer. Since each one of these records, when you're doing the migration, will come up and ask you whether it's a new code, it's important to be able to hard code that in. Otherwise, you'd only be able to put these in one at a time. So let's continue with the process here. And as we go through this now, somebody's got to type all this information in. Now this is, at its very best, mind-numbing work to be able to type in all this information. And it's no doubt going to be fraught with errors as you go through the process. But somebody's got to do it, and so you're typing in this information, and we're waiting, starting to make mistakes. I've been doing this for several hours now. I go into, notice this is page 2. Up here you notice this is page 2, so we're entering more data. This is all just one set of data that we're putting in for this particular record. And we're still working. Oh, now it looks like we've come to another one. So now we're going to stop this process. Now notice down here in the bottom right-hand corner, she's clicking on this because now she's going to stop the recording process and she's going to bring up the script view. Now when she goes to this, she can pick up the particular one that we're running. And so she opens this up, and now she gets to see the script. This is the actual script, the Get It Right, recorded as she was doing that information. I want to point out a couple things. See this right here? This is data. This is that little Y. That was that yes. And that yes was explaining that this was not a new record, or this was a new record, and so you could ignore that and continue. And so each place where she entered some information, watch what happens when she goes in here to do the process. She's got to fill out a little bit of information at the beginning. Now remember, the person that's doing this is, her name is Christine. She's a very bright and talented person, but she is not a computer programmer. And so even though this is called scripting, when I look at this, this doesn't look like scripting. This looks like a cookbook to me. Because as you go through this process, you're going to see in a second, she's going to come down here and she's going to take this number. There you go. She gets rid of the number and she types in field 1. And that refers to the Excel spreadsheet, to field number 1 in the Excel spreadsheet. Remember, she skips over this yes. She comes down to this next point and she's going to type in field 2. And on throughout the document. So this is the scripting that needs to be done. It's simply going in and taking every place where their data was put and referring that data back to the Excel spreadsheet to a particular part of that spreadsheet. Is that cool or what? Okay, by this point she has gone through and she's corrected the script, and now she's ready to have the script do its work. So take a look at what happens here. She's going to go down, and in this corner she's going to click on the Get It Right script. She finds the script and says, okay, let's run that script. And now watch what happens. All of that data gets put into each one of these records automatically. Nothing is happening. Nobody's touching the keyboard now. The software is simply going back and forth between the Excel spreadsheet and this data and is entering the information into each one of these fields. And you're going to notice in a second when I said why it was important to hard code that yes in. Right there. Oh boy, I had to hit it hard to stop it in time. You see that where it says file not found? Well, if she wasn't able to hard code that yes in there, every time this came up, it would stop the process because it would need to be attended then for each and every record. But because you can hard code that in, you don't have to worry about that, and it continues on its merry way, entering in all the data for the, in this case we're going to just enter 3 pieces. Now when they did these 3 pieces of data, she actually did a test of this when she was entering data with somebody, and it took about 4 to 6 minutes to put in data in these different fields depending on how many windows there were. 4 to 6 minutes, and remember there's 5,000 records that they've got. This is 10 years of information. So this is a lot of information to be able to put in and record into your system. And now we're just about finished, and it has now entered all of this data for these 3 records and finished the work. So, which would you rather work with? This huge Excel spreadsheet and typing these up each one at a time, all this information into that database, or would you rather use Get It Right? Man, how incredible is that? Do you really get the impact of this software? I mean, this is wins all around. If your budget is already committed to migrate data, you could save 50% or more of your budget, which you could apply elsewhere to grow your company. If you have been holding off on technology changes because you are wedded to legacy systems that must be migrated, Get It Right can set you free. You can become a hero to your boss, your company, and the shareholders' bottom line. But don't take it from us. Click on several of the video interviews from people in the field that you'll find on this CD. You can also click on the link that demonstrates how Hewitt & Associates, a world leader in human resources, expects to save over $2 million a year using Get It Right's brother, Get It Back. You have nothing to lose but your overpriced data migration consultants. So what are you waiting for? Let our customers tell their stories.